There is a narrow strip of land in northeast Afghanistan that most people have never heard of. It is one of the most remote places on Earth, cut off by mountains, ice, and extreme altitude. For centuries, it barely mattered to the outside world. But today, this forgotten land may shape the future of trade between Asia and Europe. It is called the Wakhan Corridor, and through it, the Taliban claim they have built a road that connects Afghanistan directly to China. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. There is a thin strip of land in northeast Afghanistan that almost no one talks about, yet it may soon sit at the center of global geopolitics. It is called the Wakhan Corridor, a narrow finger of territory stretching roughly 350 kilometers between Pakistan and Tajikistan, narrowing in places to just 16 kilometers and widening to 64 in others, before finally touching China. It is one of the most remote regions on Earth, cut off by mountains, glaciers, and altitude, a place that has spent centuries isolated from the world. But today, this forgotten land is suddenly attracting attention far beyond Afghanistan's borders. In late 2023, the Taliban announced something few expected. A new highway was being built through the Wakhan Corridor. The road would stretch around 120 kilometers and climb to elevations approaching 5,000 meters above sea level. The official cost was just $5 million, and authorities claimed the project was completed by January 2024. More importantly, this road was presented as a direct physical link between Afghanistan and China, a connection that had never before existed in modern history. On paper, the implications are enormous. This corridor could create a new overland route for Chinese goods heading west, bypassing traditional maritime choke points. It could eventually connect to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and plug directly into China's Belt and Road Initiative, the modern version of the ancient Silk Road. At a time when U.S.-China trade tensions continue to reshape global supply chains, a land route through Central Asia offers strategic redundancy that Beijing has been actively seeking. Afghanistan's geography has always dictated its destiny. The country covers around 650,000 square kilometers and is home to roughly 43 million people, most of whom live in rural areas. It is landlocked, mountainous, and borders 6 countries, including China. Beneath its rugged terrain lies immense wealth. Copper, lithium, rare earths, gold, and other minerals are estimated to be worth close to $1 trillion, much of it still untouched. Geography has made Afghanistan rich in resources, but difficult to control, access, and stabilize. That difficulty explains Afghanistan's long reputation as the graveyard of empires. Over centuries, it was invaded by Alexander the Great, conquered by Genghis Khan, ruled by Timur, absorbed into Mughal domains, and contested by countless others. In the 19th century, British and Russian rivalry turned Afghanistan into a buffer state during the Great Game, and the Wakhan Corridor itself was deliberately carved out to keep those empires apart. Afghanistan gained independence in 1919, but no external power ever fully mastered its terrain or its people. The modern era brought no relief. The Soviet Union invaded in 1979, triggering a brutal 9-year war. The Taliban rose to power in the 1990s, only to be removed after the US-led invasion following the attacks of September 11th. NATO forces from 36 countries maintained a presence for 2 decades, peaking at tens of thousands of troops. In August 2021, the Taliban returned to power. Since then, Afghanistan has faced deep international isolation and worsening human rights conditions, especially for women. Reaching the Wakhan Corridor remains an ordeal even today. The journey begins in Kabul and takes days by road, passing through Faizabad and Ishkashim before climbing into the mountains. Vehicles must cross the Salang Tunnel, a 2.6-kilometer passage at 3,400 meters above sea level, often blocked by snow or accidents. Mobile signals disappear, medical facilities vanish. Travelers carry tens of kilograms of emergency and medical equipment because help may be days away. On the ground, the reality of the highway looks very different from official statements. The first 80 kilometers take more than 5 hours to drive. Much of the road is unpaved gravel rather than finished asphalt. Construction machinery is present, but trade traffic is almost non-existent. Near the Chinese border, the contrast is stark. Fortified fencing, cameras, and guard posts dominate the landscape. The road stops not at an open crossing, but at a wall of security, raising an uncomfortable question about how much trade is actually happening. China's interest in Afghanistan is real, but cautious. By late 2023, China had become Afghanistan's largest investor and its third largest source of imports. It remains one of the few countries to maintain an ambassador in Kabul. At the same time, Beijing remains deeply concerned about security, particularly militant groups with potential links to Xinjiang. The result is a careful balancing act. China invests selectively, keeps diplomatic channels open, but stops short of fully opening the border. For the people who actually live in the Wakhan Corridor, geopolitics feels distant. The region is home to Wakhi and Kyrgyz nomads, some of whose presence dates back to the 16th century. Today, only 1,000 to 2,000 people remain, migrating seasonally with yaks, goats, and camels. Many live in yurts at altitudes above 4,000 meters. Healthcare is scarce. Maternal and child mortality rates remain high. Life here is shaped by altitude, weather, and isolation, rather than ideology. Despite its limitations, the road has already altered daily life. Journeys that once took weeks on foot can now be made in days by vehicle. Traders reach villages with food and basic goods. Mobile markets appear where none existed before. Teachers can now travel to nomadic schools during the short summer season, bringing education to children who were previously unreachable. These changes are modest in scale, but deeply tangible. Yet, the deeper questions remain unanswered. Officials refuse interviews. Project managers withdraw at the last moment. Orders arrive demanding footage of roads and machinery be deleted. Afghan intelligence services intervene without explanation. For a project officially described as complete and open, the level of secrecy is striking, and it fuels doubts about what this road is truly meant to be. The Taliban present the Wakhan Highway as proof of sovereignty and self-reliance. In reality, the infrastructure is not yet capable of supporting heavy trade. Afghanistan's wider road network remains in poor condition, and most trade with China still moves through Pakistani ports. Turning the country into a true transit hub would require billions more in investment, long-term security guarantees, and political stability that remains uncertain. The Wakhan Corridor is many things at once. It is a potential gateway to global trade. It is a geopolitical chess piece between China, the Taliban, and the wider world. It is also a lifeline for isolated communities living at the edge of survivability. And it is a contradiction, pairing visible modernization with a political system rolling back fundamental rights. So, what does this road really represent? Is it the beginning of Afghanistan's economic reintegration with the world, or a symbolic project inflated for political legitimacy? For now, the Wakhan Highway is less a functioning trade corridor and more a mirror, reflecting Afghanistan's unresolved tensions, its ambitions, and its uncertain future. Thanks for watching Unthinkable Build. We'll see you in the next one.